Horde cards are here, boys! What is up, Axie fam? Huh! Huh! The horn cards. Me, so horn. Here it is, boys. All right, Origins sneak peek. The Axie community has been buzzing over the sneak peek of Origins tails, horns, and mouth cards. Like I need the Red Bull right now. Today, we have our next set of cards, the horns. Which are your favorites? Leave them down in the comments below. Let us know using the hashtag AxieOrigin on social media. I'm so excited. Please note that the cards are dynamic and will change over time based on feedback from the community and data we collect around relative power. Do not make financial decisions based off these leaks or this video. Do not make decisions based off these teasers. They are meant to serve as a taste to what's to come with Axie Origin and allow you to start theory crafting. While we have your attention, we'd like to make sure that you all understand that the title of the upcoming release is Axie Infinity Origin. Here we go. The first one. 1 energy, 65 damage, bamboo shoot. Previously, very mediocre card. It says deal 20 more damage for each bamboo card used this turn. That's like a pseudo nutcracker, but a little bit damage off the or on top of the base damage. This card is very viable. I think this is a good card. Solid medium card like Mary Legion, but the offensive version. All right, let's go to the next one. Beach. Beach is going to be a big deal because there's a lot of beach Axie users at the current moment. Beach, caterpillar, cactus, and what's the other horn that gets used? A Pocky. I'm really excited for those 4. All right, so number 2, beach. It's 2 energy, 90 damage, and it gains 75 shield. The stats on this card are absolutely bananas. Rosebud, 1 energy, heal 70. 70 is a significant amount. That's more than Silence Whisper, but I'm assuming it can only heal itself. So there's that trade-off there. Very interesting to see this card. I was concerned about the triple plant, triple yam strategies and how viable they were going to be come Origins. All right, let's go to the next one. 2 energy, strawberry shortcake. Okay, no effect. It's a skill. It says add 2 strawberry to your hand. What could strawberry? There's rumors out there that pure water will add 1 energy. So what would 2 strawberry do? I'm assuming that gives you 2 cards with persist that are like heal for 35 and they're free to use. So it's like this is kind of hard to fill this one out. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to get some more information on what strawberry does. Cactus, here it is. 65 damage for 1 energy. If initial, deal 15 more damage. This feels very medium, right? Because bamboo shoot does 20 and it starts off with 65. So 85, 80 damage, maybe, for 1. Well, actually, if you put it in that context, but that means, I mean, I guess because we're turn-based and you're going back and forth, it'll be very easy to get initial off because you're not banking. It's not like Hair Dagger in version 2. You can just make sure it's the first card you use. But I guess the drawback to your deck building is you wouldn't want too many cards with initial on it because it'd be even more difficult to trigger the cactus. You know what's weird is if you look, there's a little hand holding that. So it's not the actual horn. I think that's because mutations will affect cactus, right? And so that's the base cactus. And we're gonna have the one that's the actual dual cactus on the head like we see from the Venipot spoiler, right? 1 energy, 50 damage, watermelon. Whenever this is drawn, heal 20. Oh, this card is actually very good. I was really fearful that this would be like another Toothless, right? Like another hit the backliner kind of card for like 35 damage. But when this is drawn, heal 20. So it's very anemone feeling. So it kind of gives watermelon builds out there some type of value. We are now moving on to the bug section. It says lagging. 1 energy. So it's a big change from 0 energy to 1. It says apply weak for 4 turns. We think it's gonna make the Axie take bonus damage, like 25% bonus damage. So it could apply weak. So lagging and thorny, very good together still. So all those Terminators that people are selling off in droves for like nothing, they might be viable come Origin. Ooh, Bug Signal. I really forgot about Bug Signal. It hasn't been on my radar. It says scry 4 cards for 1 energy and then banish. Okay, scry is a mechanic where you would look at the top card and you could either A, put it back on top of your deck, or put it on the bottom. So scry 4 would be look at the top 4 cards, put them in any order, or put them all on bottom, right? This card is very reminiscent of Magic the Gathering. This card is sick. This card is a very high skill cap card. I think this card is super powerful. Keep track of this card. Caterpillars, 1 energy, 60 damage, apply fear for 4 turns. Okay, so fear is very strong, it feels, in this format. You may be able to play around fear a lot easier in Origins than in V2. So maybe that's why we're seeing all the cards apply 4 stacks instead of just 1 or 2. Pretty sad to see it be only 60 damage, down from the 110 in V2. But 60 damage is pretty solid from what I can get a good feel of. We'll have to see how powerful fear is to see if Caterpillar makes it in Origins. Pliers deal 25% more damage to shield. So it's 1 energy, 65 damage. A little bit more damage than the base damage on a card, which seems to be about 60 at the moment. A little bit more than that, but it gets the 25% more damage to shield. So that's a 5% nerf from version 2, but we'll have to see how powerful that is in Origins. Because as of right now, there's not a whole lot of cards that give shields. I can't even think any off the top of my head. I can see ahead that Leaf Bug gives shields, so that's good. There's not very many. Shelter, Jar Barrage, Kingfisher. Like, there's not very many that I can think of on the top of my head. Parasite, 1 energy, 60 damage. Look at the top 2 cards of your opponent's draw card. Oh! This is so sick! This totally... I'm gonna leave a up in the annotation up there. You can look at my video. I'm dead wrong. I thought Parasite would be like a pseudo void card where it would shuffle a card in your opponent's deck. If they drew it in any of their next turns, it would just disappear. So it'd be like a dead draw. That's what I thought it was going to be. You know, very similar to like the Jinx and Tadpole, how we think it's going to operate. This is cool, man. This card and Parasite and Antenna are sick, man. Those are like very high skill cap cards. Oh, that's exciting. That's a deck assembling, knowing what your opponent has in their hand, like altering the way your deck plays. Okay, so with Scry 4, like with Antenna, you could organize your deck, right? You could put the cards you don't need on the bottom so you can keep them out of your hand. So if you're playing against like a triple Aqua card, you could put all your bug cards at the bottom and just like keep doing that. So you're playing other cards that are good against Aquas. Oh, the Leaf Bug. It says 1 energy, 45 shield. Whenever this is drawn, gain 30 shield. This is so good. Mitt gives your entire team 20 shield. This will give an Axie 30 shield, and then you can activate it to give them 45. So that combined, that's a significant amount of shields. That can negate 1 whole energy of your opponents and some, like 1.15 of their energy, right? So if it can mitigate 60 damage at minimum and then mitigate a little portion of the next card, that means their effectiveness on their cards goes down by a lot. Leaf Bug's sick. Big fan of Leaf Bug. Let's move on to the Aqua cards. All right, Aqua cards. Babylonia, I'm excited. Okay, 1 energy, 60 damage, apply weak for 4 turns. So it's real interesting to see, typically the debuffs are all on the bug cards for the most part. So it's interesting to see Aqua cards begin to get other debuffs. So we have Piranha with weak, and now we have Babylonia, we have Piranha giving bleed, and now Babylonia applying weak. So more synergies with bugs and aquas. So that's interesting to see. Epiphany just now was, what if we get an aqua bug mix? I think we will. I'm calling it right now. You're seeing it live. We're gonna get an aqua bug breed, like not just an aqua bug, like something with aqua parts and bug parts. We already have those, of course. What I'm talking about is another special class of aqua and bugs, where you have to breed pure aquas with pure bugs for a 33% chance of breeding another subtype. That's what I think. All right, let's go to the next one. 1 energy T-shell. It says target ally gains 20 shield for each card played this turn. It's hard to see if this card is good. So, oh, you know what? It's each card, right? That's important, very important. So if you have like Nemo, Kataro, T-shell, you would Nemo gain an energy, or Cottontail, even better. So you gain an energy, you heal an ally, then you Kataro, hit 2 things for 30, and then gain an energy, play a big damage spell like Koi, and then play T-shell. That's a lot of shields. I mean, the biggest question is, do shields persist from turn to turn? That's the biggest question that we have yet to get answered. So it'll be exciting to see that. Defensive cards, I've been really like mentally in my theory crafting videos. I'll put one up there. Sorry, up there, way over there. I haven't really been focusing on any of the defensive cards, and I think that's a mistake. I think there needs to be a new balance of like 1 offensive, 1 defensive, 1 energy gain, 1 0 cost, and then we have the eyes and ears. We're pretty sure at the moment, Reddit that is, we're pretty sure that the ears are gonna be powers, right? So there'll be things that you activate and then they affect the Axie for the rest of the game. Like Sakura right now is 2 energy, and then once it's activated, every time you use a card, the Axie gains 8 HP. I think we're going to see a lot more of those, like maybe one that gives 10 shield to all your allies. Like, that'd be really powerful, but it's probably going to be like 2 energy. Every time you activate a card, give all your Axies 10 shield or something. It wouldn't be far-fetched to see those kind of things implemented in ears in the form of powers. Things that are not attacks or defense, but affect the game in the long run. It says Clamshell. 1 energy, 60 damage. Gain 4 damage boost if this card causes HP loss to the target. So that's really interesting, because that's the second time we've seen it worded that way, right? Carrot Hammer is worded that way. So if it doesn't, like if it deals damage to a shield but does not break the shields, it does not get the effect. And that's very important come Origins. Anemone. Ooh, okay, so Anemone, 1 energy, 50 damage. Says whenever this card is drawn, heal 20 HP. Very solid card. I think this card is going to be still a contender because we have these Goda, Anemone, Nemo builds where you end up only drawing anemones after all your cards that you use are banished. So you end up drawing anemones over and over and over again. Yeah, so I think this card can be very good. It's a big if there's 2 copies of every card in the deck. If there's not, it might not be as strong, because if you were to banish all your cards except for your anemones, that means you would only be drawing like 2 cards every turn versus the 5 I think you're going to be drawing every turn. Aranda, 2 energy, 120 damage. Dispel up to 2 buffs on a target. This card is ridiculous. So Dispel is kind of like a cleanse, right? Have like a 2-part effect. I'm guessing you use the card, deals 120 damage, and then you get to target. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe any axes can use any card, which would change everything. And that's what this card makes me believe. It makes me believe that anybody can use any card. Maybe that's not true. I don't know. Who's to say? I guess we'll find out. Move to the next card. Next card is Shoal Star. 1 energy, 50 damage. Big change from the 125 or 120 or whatever, or 115, whatever it's at now. If the target has more than 120... What? I read that wrong. If the target has no more than 120 HP, kill it instantly. So does that mean if even if it's shielded? I think that means if it's shielded. Is Shoal Star just insane? What is this card right now? If the target has no more than 120 HP, it doesn't say anything about shields, kill it instantly. I'm pretty sure this card will get changed, but right now it's a little bit less damage. You know, like 12.5% less damage than most of the other cards, being like 60, 65, and such. But
instant kill?
That means as long as this card has not been played, it is a lethal threat to your opponent. Interesting. All right, go on to the reptiles. All right, reptiles, Unco. 1 energy, 60 damage. It says shuffle 1 goo into your opponent's discard pile. Oh, so this is now the second card with the goo effect. So it'll be interesting to see once we get a list of all the debuffs. That'll be really cool to see. So an Unco, Snail Shell, Hot Butt, Unco, Snail Shell. What is that other card? Tadpole. Like just stuff that just, or you can have like a Black Melt, Unco, Tadpole, like just really annoying your opponent, like making them draw all kinds of garbage, right? All right, go to the next one. Skelly Spear. 1 energy, 65 damage. Deal 20 more damage for each spear card used this turn. This is very reminiscent of Bamboo Shoot. We saw it just a little bit ago. Very similar, but it's on a reptile. No more shields, so we won't have those chunky boys getting like 200 shields, being able to dish out 220 damage. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects the meta, because right now, Skelly Spear is one of the top horns. One of the top players has been rocking triple Skelly Beer, horny boys, you know, as they call it. So it'll be interesting to see how this affects the meta. Let's go to the next one. Cerastes, target an ally. Next attack against the target is reflected for 85 damage. 1 energy. This is gonna be my next theory crafting video. If you haven't seen my other one, click up there. It says target an ally. Next attack against the target is reflected for 85 damage. Does that mean if it's hit for 20, it reflects 85? If it gets hit for 5, like if the Yam, and the Yam does 5 damage, they'll probably have to change Yam just for Cerastes, right? But if the Yam and you had Cerastes, does that Yam get reflected for only 5? Is it up to 85, or is it flat 85 no matter what is hit, right? This is reminiscent of Kingfisher, which we saw in the previous video. Kingfisher, I think, is a sleeper, and I've been like shopping Kingfisher Axies on the marketplace. So a Kingfisher Cerastes build might be the new Reptile. All right, let's go to the next one. Skelly Spoon. It says 1 energy, 60 shields. It says target an ally next turn after the target is attacked. Reflect 25% of shield lost. I don't know how good this is. Because if you look at the other one, that reflects 85 damage. How much shields can you get? If shields can persist and you have like 1,000 shield on your front Axie, and then they like 6 card your front Axie, and you lose like all your 1,000 shield, does it reflect? I don't know. That one gives me a headache trying to figure out how that one works. Incisor. It says 1 energy, 60 damage. Apply bleed for 4 turns. A bleed seems to be very powerful. We're not too sure if it's going to be like the Slay the Spire bleed, which is where every attack with a bleed effect increases the bleed, and then after they get so many, they lose a chunk of their health based off their maximum health. Or if it'll be similar to how our current poison works, and you take a little bit of extra damage every time you get hit by a card. We're not too sure, but 1 energy, 60 damage, pretty middle of the road card. It'll be interesting to see this card, because this card is on the old Tri-Spikes Thorny Caterpillar meta. So those might work really well together. All right, let's go to the next one. Another 2 energy card. This is a power. I just talked about this. See how it says power? Oh, I'm pointing at it, but you can read it. 2 energy, the power with innate. Innate. Whenever you play a card this battle, this Axie gains 10 shield. Look, told you. I thought it was going to be like ears only, so maybe it wasn't exactly accurate. So, but yeah. So for the rest of the game, whenever you play a card this battle, this Axie gains 10 shield. So this card can be very, very frustrating to play against. You have this with like bone cells and pumpkins, and yeah, bumpy bone cells might be a thing again. All right, let's go to the next section. Onto the birds. The first one we got over here. Eggshell. 1 energy, 75 damage. That is a lot of damage. Apply taunt to this Axie for 2 turns. Fantastic. I'm so glad that they made Eggshell have some type of utility in Origins. I was worried that they would do Eggshell dirty and just 65 damage, 1 energy kind of card. So it's nice to see it have like a bonus effect where you can kind of like force your opponent to divide their damage amongst several of your Axies. The end of my turn, is that your turn and on my next turn until it's your turn the following time? I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see that as well. Okay, let's go to the next one. We already seen this one in the spoilers. Let's see if they changed it from the original text. 1 energy, target ally, remove sleep. The next attack of the target this turn deals 50 more damage. So we've already seen a big nerf from 10 damage. It used to be target and ally, remove sleep. The next attack of the target deals 60 more damage. So yeah, pretty big nerf there already. So that'll change my my speculative buys a little bit because I bought a couple of serious cuckoo lambs and stuff. All right, let's go to the next one. Trump. This is 1 energy, 65 damage. This is deal 20 more damage for each trump card used this turn. This is like what's the other one that we saw? A Skelly Spear. Along the same lines, like really pushing the like triple bird, triple reptile, triple plant builds. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of metas we have at the beginning of Origins. All right, let's go to the next one. Kestrel. 1 energy, 50 damage. Apply disarmed for 4 turns. I think disarmed? It could be one of 2 things. It could be, number 1, it puts a card that is useless in their hand called disarmed. That's like, cannot be used, right? Or the Axie cannot use any attack cards for 4 turns. I don't know, but it looks like Origins went from like being like 3 and 4 turns to like more focused on the late game. All these cards make me think that the game's gonna go on for a lot longer than B2. I hope that is not the case. I'm hoping for super fast back and forth action. If it's gonna be Magic the Gathering Arena 2.0, well, I guess you can earn more playing this than you can. Well, maybe not. I don't actually know. Go on to the next one. Winghorns, Smart Shot. Previously on some of the top Season 18 builds with the Jumping Poison. It'll be interesting to see what it does. It says 1 energy, 65 damage. If initial, this attack targets the second frontmost enemy. So it skips the closest enemy. So same thing. So yeah, so it has pretty much the same effect, but 65 damage up from like 40 or 50 or whatever it does at the current. So does this make your next attacks do that same effect, or does this it's hard to tell, like, what's the purpose of Toothless and these other cards if it doesn't force the next ones to all hit the same Axie? So when you play this, you would have to have 2 in your hand to hit the middle Axie twice. Winghorn, right? Previous one, you'd use 1 Winghorn, and then your next 3 attacks would all also hit that middle Axie, because whichever one it focused with its first attack, it would hit with all its consecutive attacks. Now this makes me think that that's not the case, because we've been leaked a rune that can modify a card to hit the furthest enemy. I don't know. This is making me dizzy. This is making you dizzy? Leave a comment if this is making you dizzy. All right, let's go to the next one. Feather Spear. All right, it says 1 energy, 65 damage. Deal 20 more damage for each spear card used this turn. So I think this synergizes with the reptile one. Those like bird and reptile like combinations, because that's not really that commonplace. 20 more damage. So if you use 2 of these, it's 170 damage for 2 energy. If you look at Thorny Caterpillar, I mean, that's a lot more damage than Thorny Caterpillar. So is this better? It'll be, I don't know. Doing that math actually makes me think it's a lot better min-maxing than some other cards. Like Koi is 2 energy, 120, then you get a bonus 15% for each Aqua, right? Or is it a bonus 15 damage for each Aqua? I'll put it on the screen. Anyways, let's go on to the beast cards. First card, Little Branch. 2 energy, 130 damage. This opens up all kinds of builds, right? 2 energy, 130 damage, gain 1 rage per 1 alive ally, including summons, right? So if you're having like a bunch of inklings, a bunch of robins, a bunch of mushrooms like on your team, and you just have like a field full of things, and your opponent isn't playing stuff like Gia or Grandma's Fan or Buzz Noise or Buzz, whatever it's called, then you use Little Branch. Not only does it does a significant amount of damage, not as much as 2 individual cards, but gain 1 rage per 1 ally alive, right? The speculation right now is that rage goes up as the Axie's attack. So every attack gives them a little bit. And after so much rage, they go into rage mode, and some cards are free if they're in rage mode, but also we're thinking they'll apply bonus damage. Yeah, speaking of which, let's look at the very next card. Looks like they buffed it a little bit from 65 from the original spoiler. Here it is, Imp. A little change from the initial leak, showed 65 damage. So 1 energy, 70 damage, but costs 0 energy in Fury form. So yeah, Beast might be a little crazy. You got a couple of beasts on your team, and you're just like summoning all kinds of things, and you're using Little Branches and Cottontails. So Cottontails to gain the energy, you're healing your beasts if they're low, and then you're using Little Branches to raise your rage, and using stuff like Sheba to make your Axies go into like rage form, and then you play a bunch of imps for free, and might be very solid. All right, let's go on to the next card. Mary, which we've already seen before. It says 1 energy, 65 shields, but target an ally. It used to be worded that it could be used by any Axie. I guess we'll have to see. Let's go to the next one. Pocky. 1 energy, 65 damage. It says attack random enemy, apply taunt for 2 turns. It's good that you get the taunt because this is primarily a tank card. You see a lot of those like Biden hot butt Pocky teams with like Sirius or Mosquito. But now, since you can't control what it attacks, RNG is not a favorite to a competitive format. So it'll be difficult for this card to be good, I think. But I guess it depends on how valuable or how powerful or how effective taunt can be. Because if we use taunt and we use something like Kingfisher or Jar Barrage, so you're guaranteed to attack that Axie, and then they used Jar Barrage as well, and now all those attacks against that Axie are just gone, dead cards. It's like you skipped your turn. Let's go to the next one. Dual Blade. 1 energy, 60 damage, significant reduction from the previous value. So a Dual Blade, 60 damage. It says apply Fragile for 4 turns. So maybe Fragile will be more like what we think Weak was going to be. So maybe Fragile reduces its shield effectiveness, or maybe it makes it to where it takes bonus damage or double damage. It's hard to see. So if you use like a Dual Blade and then follow that up with like a Pocky, will the Pocky do bonus damage after being hit with the Fragile? I guess we'll wait and see. It'll be interesting. Final card. Here we go. Arco. This does not trigger secrets. This is 1 energy, 65 damage. Does not trigger secrets. So Arco can get around Jar Barrages and Kingfishers and Scaly Spoons. That's kind of awesome. I think this card is actually really strong. Like, secrets are going to be a big part of the game, and now we have a card that can just ignore those. Thanks for watching the video. What do you think? What's your favorite card in the series so far? Arco has to be my favorite leak out of these leaks. Let's see what other ones were really exciting. Bumpy is really, really interesting. That's probably the most interesting. Cerastes is probably the card that I'm excited about most, actually. Right behind Leaf Bug. I think Leaf Bug is going to be very solid. Very solid card. The only difference is Leaf Bug, because it's not a secret, your opponent knows which one's receiving the shield. So I guess there's that to keep track of. Anyways, what is your favorite card leaked so far? If you have a comment or you have a question or you have an idea about my next video, leave it down in the comments and I will respond to it in my next video if I get a chance. This is so exciting, it's making me dizzy. Anyways, good luck in your matches. I can't wait to see the eyes and ears, man. It's gonna be super exciting, man. Yeah, Bumpy's gonna be sick. Bumpy and Kingfisher builds. Yo. Bleh, bleh, bleh.